Hello there Facebook world, good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending on when you're watching this video. As I broadcast it live, it is Sunday the 18th of August 2024. It's currently 10:45 AM United Kingdom time, and the opportunity mentioned above or below this video ends in the next 24 hours. So you really do need to go and check that out, because it's your opportunity to get your hands on over £15,000 worth of hypnosis training materials, courses, business building tools, profit producing tools, business plans, you name it, everything you could ever need to take the complete novice to advanced master practitioner level with rapid speed and success, and everything you could ever need and is as an established professional to grow your business and learn the things that I've taught world famous stage hypnotists, world famous clinical hypnotherapists, television life coaches, television weight loss consultants, television media celebrities. I teach you everything in the Elite Hypnotherapy and NLP Hypnosis Bootcamp. Details are above or below this video, and it comes with a full 1 year, 100% satisfaction, money back guarantee. Anyway, this is called Through the Keyhole, and I'm going to take you on a tour of my home office, my office in Soho. Sounds like Soho, London, doesn't it? But it's S-O-H-O, small office, home office. I'm going to show you the stuff that I surround myself with to keep myself inspired. So we're going to have a quick 360 degrees of my office, and you can see what's on the walls. And I'm going to give you some background on what it all means and why it's all there. Because absolutely every item on my wall has a story, a meaning, and a history, meaning that it proves to be inspirational. And if you believe in all that energy and vibrational type winky wanky arty farty tree hugging bullshit, as I refer to it in my seminars, then this stuff gives off positive energy and vibrations that help me when I am sat here creating stuff, or when I'm doing, obviously you might be getting reflection on some of the glass here because of the light in the room or through the window. When I am doing one-to-one Zoom therapy sessions with therapy clients, or when I'm doing online coaching and mentoring and advising people for their TV programs around the world, or when I'm having legal meetings, as I'm doing quite a lot of at the moment, because obviously in January I'm due in court at the High Court in London alongside the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, Lord Tom Watson, Lord Tom Watson, used to be an MP but now he's a Lord, former Prime Minister Gordon Brown, British pop star Talisa Contos-Tavalos, and a whole bunch of other people, 42 of us, that are suing Rupert Murdoch as news group newspapers for phone hacking, unlawful information gathering, libel, slander, malicious prosecutions, and a whole bunch of other things. We've all got a collective. Some of these down here I'll have to zoom into after, because at different angles the light's a bit funny. We've all obviously got our own claimant-specific particulars of claim, but there's a generic one as well, where we've got this evidence of news group newspapers, the News of the World, the Sun and whatnot, concealment and destruction of evidence galore, a massive cover-up. That's due in court in January, so obviously it's taking up a lot of my time, so it's nice to be surrounded by positive energy. I'm going to give you the brief stories behind the vast majority of these things in a moment when we go around the office again, but you're just getting a quick first look here. Sorry, you can see the light reflecting from the office. Literally every spare space, well, it's not spare space now, is it? It's space taken up with inspiration, magical history, hypnotic history, mentalism history, psychic legend history, Association of Complete Mind Therapists, which I founded years ago, as I say, absolutely everywhere, there are things that give positive memories and give off positive energy to help inspire me when I'm working here in the office. Here again. Oh, I wasn't joking. Literally everywhere there is stuff. Okay, so we've had a quick, as it were, 360 of the office. What we're going to do now is I'm going to give you the details kind of behind the stories behind the thing. So let's start with these. There is 1, 2, 3 original framed vintage Peter Casson Hypnotist posters. Now, Peter Casson founded the Federation of Ethical Stage Hypnotists here in England after an American guy called Ralph Slater, who wrote this book. This guy came to England and he was doing shows in sort of circa 1949, 1950. And basically somebody after one of his shows ended up wanting to claim damages because they believed that he'd psychologically harmed them and caused them to be depressed, borderline suicidal and whatnot. And as a result, the British government, because of media backlash and general public backlash, very nearly banned comedy stage hypnosis shows in England in the area of sort of circa 1950-51 time. However, Peter Casson, who was one of the biggest theatre box office attractions, certainly in England and other places in the world after the war, he stepped in and was able to get the government, rather than banning stage hypnosis, to implement the 1952 Hypnotism Act, which some people moan about, but I think it's actually not stringent enough, because health and safety in stage hypnosis shows is far more important than you could possibly imagine, and indeed the most comprehensive training on health and safety, both for stage hypnotists, street hypnotists and clinical hypnotherapists as well, who treat people one-to-one, can be found inside the Elite Hypnotherapy NNLP Hypnosis Bootcamp, which is currently on offer for the next 24 hours at the link above or below this video. Now these posters of Peter Casson have another meaning, because all 3 of them were previously owned by the legendary British television magician Paul Daniels, and they were bought in the auction of his estate that took place after he passed away. So all 3 of these belong to Paul Daniels, and that's significant because Peter Casson also ran a theatrical entertainment agency and managed Paul Daniels early on in his career. It's further significant because Peter Casson was introduced to his wife, Magda, the famous London and TV model, was introduced to his wife by my father, Keith William Smith, also known as Tizzy the Clown, the amazing Etna and Alex-Leroy comedian. He was introduced to Magda, a place in the West Country. I'm having a mental block now, but my dad worked with her in a holiday camp scenario down in, was it Truro, Cornwall, something like that. It's in my dad's scrapbooks, images that are on my Alex William Smith, facebook.com/Alex the Hypnotist Facebook profile. When you click on photos, then click on albums and look in there. So Peter Casson, very significant, and he also set up the Federation of Ethical Stage Hypnotists. I also appeared with Peter Casson on BBC Television's Kilroy television debate show in the early 90s about stage hypnosis, when the campaign against stage hypnotists was formed to try and ban comedy stage hypnosis again. So Peter lived through it nearly being banned in the early 50s, and then it nearly being banned in the early 90s. but I was actually the person who appeared on more TV shows, radio shows, and in the media in the early 90s, 94, 95, 96, and helped save comedy stage hypnosis from being banned, as you can see on my website, magicalguru.com, by clicking on the TV clip section, or clicking on the link that I'll put below this video afterwards, or going and looking at my career resume at magicalguru.co.uk. That's MAGICALGURU, magicalguru.co.uk. So Peter Casson, very significant. This one, it just took my fancy. At this angle, it turns out that this image apparently is of some kind of metal rap American band or something. Somebody mentioned to me the other day. I just saw it in a shop window and liked it because it was like a psychic-y magician with a magic wand in one hand and a crystal ball that when you turn, changes to this jokerish character with playing cards, and then when you get to the other angle, it turns into this sort of devil with a book on fire. I just got that one because I like it, and that's why it's actually positioned near my laptop so I can peer over and see it. And it's also 3D, it kind of reaches out of the screen. On my desk there is, well, you may have guessed, look into the eyes, not around the eyes, into the eyes you're under, it's me. And it's a portrait that's been painted of me by award-winning artist, and if you look you'll find his work on Saatchi and on Rise Art and on other high-profile art websites. He's an award-winning artist, Mr. Mark Metcalf, and as you'll see if you search the internet, he charges over £5,000. In fact, that's sort of the minimum base level for doing somebody's portrait, and he did it very kindly for me in exchange for the hypnosis training that he did with me a number of years ago. On the desk also we've got a little pocket watch there, obviously linked to hypnotists, but meaningful to me because it was given to me by my cousin Roger Standering Howarth, who passed away a few years ago, tragically, at a fairly early age, and it was his adopted mother's, so it means a lot. And then we've got my little wizard there. Moving upwards, Alexander, the man who knows. I'm sorry about the slight reflection on the pictures. You can see the bloody light in my room, but I'll try and move around so you get a different look. There we go. Alexander, the man who knows. Well, my name by birth is Alex William Smith. So Alex is a link there. Some people have in the past said there's a bit of a vague resemblance of when I was younger. And he did a Q&A act, questions and answers act, apparently telling people things about their loved ones or questions they'd written down and he'd apparently not seen. Well, I, in the late 80s and early 90s, as documented by Psychic News, and you can see on magicalguru.co.uk, used to fill Northwest civic halls and theatres and hotels and other venues doing a show, Bridges from Beyond, Contacting the Dead. Pure questions and answers, nothing written down though. This was, well, I got dubbed as the new Uri Geller and Doris Stokes rolled into one. I was doing cold reading, hot reading on acid, apparently connecting them to their loved ones before I, a few years later, as explained at magicalguru.co.uk, exposed the fact that it was indeed just trickery. So that's Alexander, the man that knows. Next to that, try and get in an angle again where, oh, you can see me in that, trying to get so you can see it without too much reflection. Tommy Cooper, just like that. I was watching Live from Her Majesty's on ITV on the evening Tommy was performed for the last time, and when he dropped to the ground, as he was falling, I said to my mum and dad, I just had this feeling, I said, he's dead. And they didn't believe me at that moment because they thought it was just going to do the bit where he, you know, was going to do that comedy levitation thing that he used to do, and obviously he never got up and he did pass away. It was weird. I don't know, I just knew in the moment. Next to that is a poster that I've used for corporate events that I've done in the past, such as working for Richard Branson's Virgin Group in Barbados, where I did a couple of shows there for all the staff and for celebrities and dignitaries and stuff. or the time when I did a show for Middle Eastern royalty. And I mean top of the tier Middle Eastern royalty that took place at a private cabaret club in the Seychelles. I've been all over the world. I've done shows at the Rival Theatre for F-Secure, one of the world's biggest software companies, and it's a theatre that is owned by one of the BGs. All over the place. Anyway, that's my corporate hypnosis show style poster. You can see me coming into reflection now. Next to that is Houdini's Death-Defying Mystery. Houdini, one of the greatest escape artists of all time. And despite the fact that some people think Houdini coined the word escapology, he did. Because other people say that actually, no, it was a Blackpool-based, but Australian originally, I think, escapologist called Murray, who had a magic shop called Murray's Magic Mart. In actual fact, the evidence as shown on the Blackpool Shazam Show Business Museum website shows that actually Murray saw a press article about Houdini coining the term escapology and then kind of passed it off as his own. It means a lot to me because a number of years ago, as illustrated on magicalguru.co.uk, I did a underwater escapology stunt that nearly killed me. I had various pairs of handcuffs on, leg irons, a neck brace collar, loads of chain, loads of padlocks, and then was submerged in a wheelie bin of freezing cold water to promote Simply Pure Water Limited, a company I had shares in with my business partner, who's sadly no longer with us, Mr. Peter Hill, who also set up the Mindcare Organisation UK Limited with me. The full story of how I was so close to death, but still managed to get loads of publicity, is at magicalguru.co.uk. Next to that, Herbert Flint, a historical hypnosis poster where the Flint's hypnotic skirt dance. Well, this shows that everything old's new again, because in shows I did get men to believe they were women for various routines. These days I do a RuPaul's Drag Race type routine that I've done for a number of years. And also I had a period of time, certainly in 2001, for my European television series filmed in Amsterdam, where I became Mesmeralda, the world's only female stage hypnotist, which was actually me in drag, playing my own twin sister for the satirical, comedic television series sitcom stroke variety show Life in the Bus Lane. Again, details of which are at magicalguru.co.uk. And then we go up to the next row. That's the theatrical release poster for Extreme Danger, Extreme Hypnosis. It's time for the sleepwalking zombies to wake up. My just short of 2-hour-long documentary on hypnotic mind control and how anyone can be hypnotised against their will, and indeed that we all are, from different areas of our daily life, from the cradle to the grave. And I explain how this happens and how you can resist it in my documentary, which you can watch free by going to YouTube, to my Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel, clicking on playlist, and then clicking on the one called Extreme Danger, Extreme Hypnosis. There's various videos in there relevant to that. There's a bit of glare and reflection on there, I apologise for, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Next to that is a more sort of family show hypnosis poster I've used. Next to that is the poster for my show Egg, Sausage, Peas, the Mentalist Cookbook. It's a bizarre comedy psychic style show which gives you food for thought. What's interesting is that this was made up largely of routines I devised myself, all of which are now available both in video form and also in a book called Mind Miracles, Real World Mentalism and Mind Reading Secrets by Jonathan Royle, available from Amazon, which teaches you all of the routines for the full 2.5-hour theatre show, plus a bunch of other stuff I created for close-up stage cabaret, many of which have been used by television name mind control experts. Indeed, my version of the Russian roulette spike routine, where videos have shown of it going wrong and there's a whole health and safety warning and not That theatrical style presentation was done by me before any other mentalist in the world, as timelines can prove. And it was then modelled by, among other people, Darren Brown in his Miracle Show. Although I used actual more video footage of it going wrong than he did. Television Without Frontiers, theatrical release poster for the 4-part documentary style television series that was filmed in Sweden. Swedish artist Andreas Henriksson. You can find out more about that at magicalguru.co.uk, where you can also see a video of my hypnotic performance in one of the episodes. My favourite comedy hypnosis show poster, and I've used many, many over the decades, because I've been doing comedy stage hypnosis shows since 1990, aged 15, and I've been treating people and charging them money to do so for clinical hypnotherapy since 1989, when I became the youngest ever member of the Association of Professional Hypnotherapists and Psychotherapists back in 1989. It's a wonderful set of cartoons done by the talented artist Martin Ballem. And we're back to the desk again. So now let's go around this corner. Told you what those things are. That's me when I did an illusion act as Alex-Leroy. That's me at the age of 6 as Flap the Clown. Although I made my stage debut aged 3 and a bit around Christmas time 1978 as Flap the Clown in Christmas corporate shows before doing a summer season with Gandhi's Circus. That's me at the 21st anniversary of Manchester's Gay Pride at the AXM Manchester nightclub, where we did a successful comedy stage hypnosis show, the videos of which can be watched for free on my Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel. A couple of pictures there with my wife Rachel and my daughter Ashley, who turned 15 on Friday the 16th of August. She's due back today from from British Youth Musical Theatre. That's the magic circle clock that was on the wall in the living room of my magical mentor, the late Jack Griggs, who was the former editor of the International Brotherhood of Magicians British Ring magazine. He also illustrated the Jack Hughes World of Magic books that Derek Lever put out, and well known in the magical community. He was a former president of the Order of the Magi, Britain's 3rd oldest magic club. That's when he was made a Fellow of the Order in 1987, just before I turned 12. Later in 87, when I turned 12 years of age, it's the first time I met Jack Griggs, and he started taking me to Order of the Magi magic meetings, even though I was apparently too young to go. He took me, and Derek Lever, no one argued with him. I was going for years, even though I wasn't a member. People ended up thinking I was, and I wasn't, ironically. Max Mavin, had the pleasure to see perform many times, had permission from him to use one of his ideas as part of the technique for my multi-phase 3 triple whammy endings. Many people have said the best stage version of any card at any number burglars effect they've ever seen, which is fully detailed in my book Mind Miracles, Real World Mentalism and Mind Reading Secrets. Got to spend time with him as well at events. Just a legend, basically. Jeff McBride, another bloody legend, who, along with Eugene Berger, got to spend quality time with at Blackpool Magic Convention a number of years ago, when John Randall was acting as their guide and PR person, personal assistant, call it what you will. And that was the year where Derek Lever posted defamatory, untrue nonsense about me on the walls in the Winter Gardens, warning dealers, saying that I would be trying to rip them off or use counterfeit money with them, and that I should be banned from the convention, which he tried. However, ultimately, John Randall, the late John Randall, who, what a wonderful guy, intervened and kind of implied that if I was in any way banned and those defamatory posters were not taken down immediately, that Jeff and Eugene would not perform. And needless to say, much to Derek Lever's dislike, the posters were taken down. I did remain for the whole of the convention, and yeah, that's history. Ironically also, despite the fact Derek wanted me banned from the convention, I was the first ever act to walk on stage at the first ever Beat the Wand competition thing in the bar at the Winter Gardens as part of Blackpool Magic Convention, the first ever one. Got booed off, yeah, because, well, it was the Hate Royle campaign, but that's by the by. Can't take it away from me. I have performed at Blackpool Magic Convention, the first ever act to do it at Beat the Wand, as shown on my Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel. Penn and Teller, absolute bloody legends. They stay after their show in Vegas until they've seen everyone for photographs. Got photos with them on my Facebook profile. Got to speak to them. Penn Jillette, I actually invested money in helping him produce his film. I'll come to that later. Their show was just absolutely bloody fantastic, and it was a privilege to meet them and spend time talking to them. Paul Daniels, a lot of magicians say that their inspiration was Paul Daniels' magic set. With me, it was a slight bit different. Around the age of 4, going into the age of 5, so circa 1979 to 1980, I actually appeared on the front of the Paul Daniels Magic Museum on the Golden Mile in Blackpool, with my dad, Tizzy the Clown, and we were doing what they call getting an edge, attracting a crowd to come in. And we were doing that along with Paul's son, Paul Jr., when he was there and not in an arcade spending money. He disappeared a heck of a lot. And we were performing the Leicester Lake style neck guillotine illusion to get a crowd, and then encouraging people to pay money to go into the Paul Daniels Magic Museum. What's interesting is during that time I bought various things, and I got little lessons off Paul Daniels when he came to visit. His mum Nancy came and visited on many occasions, and also the magic concession in there was rented by the legendary Svengali deck operator Mark Lewis. So I probably got my first ever Svengali deck off Mark Lewis, which is relevant for reasons I'll mention very shortly. But I spent a lot of time with Paul over the years. At conventions, at his magic shop, got great advice from him. And yeah, a legend who I say was at one time managed by the late hypnotist Peter Casson. Oh yeah, I've got to tell you the time when Paul's mum Nancy once said to my dad, "Tizzy, can you teach our young Paul some stage presence?" And my dad said, "Look, if his dad Paul Daniels can't teach him some stage presence, what chance have I got?" David Copperfield, the man, the myth, the legend. Saw his show in Vegas again. Wow. Just amazing. I had a VIP seat at the front, and just a complete and utter legend who I saw his specials growing up. One of the first people I saw perform the Impaled Illusion, which is relevant later, although one of the very first as well, was Paul Daniels. And I mentioned this on magicalguru.co.uk. Wayne Dobson. It's a kind of magic, a great inspiration when I was growing up. Darren Brown, who, as I say, his production company, Objective Productions, has bought tons of my DVDs and training materials over the years, and have used various items of mine as inspiration or source material for things they've done in their TV shows, such as the Total Eclipse of the Sun thing, which I was bragging about at a Blackpool Magic Convention, and then I walked away from the people I was with, and it was pointed out to me that amongst them was Andy Nyman, Darren's advisor and consultant, who reluctantly had to agree that, yeah, okay, there is stuff in my no such thing as hypnosis videos which formed sort of source inspiration material for things they did. Siegfried and Roy. Going to try and get an angle so I don't get too much reflection for you. Absolute legends. Sadly, I never got to see them perform live, but I did see the television special when it was shown in England, but they did magic with, well, they did miracles with livestock. Doug Henning, who ended up turning into a person that was a believer of real magic and transcendental medication. It's meditation even. But yeah, I used to see his hippie-style magical presentations on television when I was young. I'm trying to kneel down here. Stuff all the way from ceiling to floor. James Randi, who, as well as doing escapology, being a magician, became best known perhaps for his long-time feud with Uri Geller and his involvement with the Committee for the Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal. He had a show in the UK in the 90s called James Randi Psychic Investigator. I actually applied to be on it as Alex-Leroy clairvoyant, and I wasn't successful, and I spun it and said this was because James was scared of my genuine clairvoyant abilities and got a lot of publicity out of it at the time with Psychic News and whatnot. And I later met him at Blackpool Magic Convention and apologised for having done such, and he said, it's fine, at least you came clean and now you expose the frauds and the charlatans. And he told me I had to write my name bigger on my name badge because it was publicity. Down there, a line drawing done by J. Fortune, print of the late Di Vernon, card maestro, card magician, close-up magician, misdirection expert par excellence. Inspirational because I used to do close-up sleight of hand magic and stuff, as you can see on my Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel. There's some magic videos on there. Eugene Berger, who we talked of before, such a lovely guy. Remember spending until sort of like, I think it was going on for like 6:30 in the morning, and there was only me, Eugene and Stuart Harrison Cassells left in the Ruskin Hotel talking magic, spiritualism and life in general. It was an honour. It's an old-time picture of a hypnotist doing catalepsy, meaningful to me because in the 90s my gimmick was that I did full-body catalepsy at the end of my show because I used research purposes and other loopholes, meaning I was operating legally within the law, as explained at magicalguru.co.uk, and fully taught on my transparency template, the world's most comprehensive training in health and safety for hypnotherapist, stage hypnotist, street hypnotist and whatnot. I used to do that, don't anymore. That's a guy called Joe Gartner. His quote there saying, if you're going to get into big time religion, these are the games you have to play. You go into it as a business and you work it as a business. Marjo, which is Mary and Joseph combined to make Marjo Gartner. Investigate him. He went from the dark side of conning people out of money as an evangelical preacher to exposing it all. And I was involved in that industry for a while, and in the late 80s, early 90s, someone who I believe, based on what they said, worked for Benny Hinn, offered me a lot of money to go to America and effectively be his warm-up act. I turned it down. What would life have been had I done that? I wonder. Another full-body catalepsy, this time breaking the sandstone on the chest. Harry Houdini, King of Cards, inspirational because one of the most famous magicians of all time, in the way that Uri Geller is one of the most famous psychics of all time. Or some would just say an even more famous magician, but there you go. Alexander the Crystal Seer, that's the man who knows we saw before. Same guy. Again, I used to do fortune telling, tarot, runes, astrology and all that. And in fact, I've got various books out on how to do that. One of them being The Art of Fortune Telling, Predicting the Future of Fun and Profit, that teaches you energetic psychometry, numerology, palmistry, astrology, runes, tarot, graphology, tree reading, gemstone reading, clairvoyance, and a whole bunch of mentalism routines on those themes as well. Available from Amazon. The Houdinis there, doing metamorphosis. The substitution trunk, meaningful to me because substitution trunk was one of the routines in the act, the illusion act that myself and David R.K. put together that we were going to be doing the holiday parks with, but then I went and got a break on television in January 93 on Channel 4's The Word, and that led to me getting a residency at the London Bus Emporium nightclub in High Wycombe, and led on to other contracts, and meant that the planned Illusion Act of us doing the holiday parks didn't happen, and my career turned from being one of an illusionist and magician to more of a hypnotist, as explained at magicalguru.co.uk. Chimpanzees on the window. I'll just try and get in a position so you can see them better. Because they're near the window, the lighting becomes a bit funny, but great facial expressions. That one's a bit like, duh, stupid. And miniature illusions, origami box, one of my favourite illusions, and the zigzag, although I do prefer the cube zag, after having seen Russ Stevens perform it on Tricks and Tracks decades ago. The chimpanzees are relevant because, well, I'll tell you that when I get to the big chimp in a minute, okay? Let's go to the other wall. The magic circle. That was another artefact of Jack Griggs, who had the clock, as is the International Brotherhood of Magicians clip. The clock comes from South Africa. I was given an award and entered into the Hypnotist Hall of Fame, the South African Academy of Hypnotists Hall of Fame, curated by Max Kahn, the television and media hypnotist out there, some years ago, and he kindly sent me that after he'd visited and stopped at my home here in England. The Magic Circle's relevant because I was supposed to be doing a lecture there in circa 2017, I think, off the top of my head. In any event, at the last minute it was cancelled after defamatory, untrue, twisted, distorted comments and rumours were spread by various people, but certainly the evidence seems to suggest one of the ringleaders was Paul Zenon. All of this is explained at magicalguru.co.uk. And because I didn't get to do my lecture, I didn't become a member of the circle, because the deal was I'd do my lecture and that would be classed as my audition. And I would have got in because I had amazing material to share. But hey, their loss because of lies and distortions from people in show business who frankly should have known better. This was on the wall in Jack Griggs' home. And it's got a little poem at the bottom. It's a jolly good trick, said the wizard. Indeed, it is second to none. I'd include it, said he, in my repertoire, if only I knew how it was done. And I've had a brain fart moment on the artist, but it's collectible and rare, but I'm not going to sell it. It's literally invaluable as a memory to me. That's my Star of Fame that was placed on the August the 13th, 2009. So that was my birthday and also the same year that my daughter was born. Then we've got Harry Houdini, a line drawing done by Jay Fortune, who ran Radio Magic programmes years ago and has a book out, Radio Magic Volume 1 and Radio Magic Volume 2, which I appear in because I was privileged to be one of the guests alongside some of the biggest names in the magical industry on the Radio Magic show. Next to that, another line drawing by Jay Fortune, this time of Ricky J and his 52 assistants, the master of card and gambling stuff. He appeared on Simon Drake's Secret Cabaret and on various TV shows when I was growing up. Very inspirational indeed. Picture there of Salvador. Is it Salvador Dali's? I think it is off the top of my head. I'm having a brain fart moment thanks to my, I hate to use the word illness, but the things that are affecting me that I'm currently waiting for the neurologist for. Down here, Peter Powers, who I appeared on The Word, a British cult youth television show in January 1993 that led to my hypnosis career just skyrocketing overnight and me travelling the world. Peter lived for a while in Littleborough, just down the road from Rochdale where I am. Prior to that he lived in Bolton. He now lives in Australia. We've been friends for many years. He was at my first wedding reception. We've been out for curries. nights out over the years, and I've advised him on, in the past, risk assessments, various things to do with marketing, smoking cessation projects, and a whole bunch of other things. And we were both in line with Bravo to do a series that ended up being called Street Hypnosis with Peter Powers. He picked me to the post because at one point it was very nearly going to be called Hypnotorious, featuring, yep, you guessed it, featuring me. We've got, that's the badge that the Brain Tumour Research did as a charity fundraising thing after Paul Daniels passed. You can guess my daughter got me that. But my wife got me that, and I like monkeys for reasons it's a bit odd actually, but I'll mention later. The legend that is Ken Webster, that's when he did a joint hypnosis and mentalism show. A bit of both. And Ken and me years ago didn't see eye to eye because I did apparently do one of his routines on Channel 4's The Word. Although in actual fact I believe that I'd modelled it, stolen it, copied it, call it what you will, from another stage hypnotist, but they probably did off Ken anyway. Ken wasn't happy about it, understandably. I've apologised for that over the years, and we are now, I'm glad to say, friends. And yeah, in terms of this particular show, I gave him some pointers regards the mentalism bit and a thing called dream vision, which you might have seen David Copperfield do years ago with a blackboard, and gave him a few other ideas. Plus I also, in the past, have given him a copy of my script and stuff for the virtual gastric band complete mind therapy approach, which, you know, he used as inspiration for his own version. Jeff McBride, we've already mentioned him. This is a picture by Jay Fortune, who was on Radio Magic, so it's got multiple levels of meaning. His mask act, as performed on the Paul Daniels Magic Show, with the music, even the greatest stars change themselves in the looking glass. Absolutely one of the best things I'd ever seen as a kid, magically. Andrew Newton, one of the first stage hypnotists I saw perform, who in 2003 I promoted his first ever hypnosis training seminar, and in 2004 I promoted his second ever hypnosis training seminar, and around that time period I also taught him how to do hypnosis training seminars properly, albeit he'd probably deny that, but it's the truth and documented fact with witnesses galore at those events. Yeah, and there's other things that I can't talk about for legal reasons, but hey-oh, such is that. This is a tankard, which I'm going to try and zoom in on. You can just about see it says, presented to Jack Griggs by the British Magical Society in recognition of his bravery and, without getting up there, on the 25th of November 1976. This is when Jack, whose daytime job was a police sergeant, police officer and later police sergeant, stopped an armed robbery with people with machetes and put his life at serious risk. And he got awarded that by the British Magical Society, and I've given that in his will along with various other things. And then the side of my drawers, well, I could be here all day if I told you what each of these means, but basically they have different magical memories and connections to me. So I'll just show you the side of the drawers. That set of drawers quite quickly, and then I'll kneel down. Alexander again, Houdini again, Carter the Great. Magical history, surrounded by the energies, if you believe in that stuff. But it certainly makes me feel that I'm working in a more productive environment. Mentioned Mystique before and the Impaled Illusion. There's Russ in the middle, Impaled, who's now, Russ, as you know, is now pivotal on lots of the Got Talents, Britain's Got Talent and other Got Talent formats in the world, in making magic respected. That's me when I won the Cabaret Trophy at the Order of the Magi. That's me with the Cabaret Trophy, the Best Card Trick Trophy, and the Best Close-Up Magician Trophy that I held all at the same time when I was a member. I'm currently not a member. But, you know, never say never. I may rejoin in the future. Me with the legend Ian Adair from Supreme Magic Company. Supreme Magic Company, just before they closed, were going to publish my Hypnosis book and make a magic teaching video with me. Sadly, the company went bankrupt before they saw light. And there's a young dynamo with the legend Paul Daniels. So really, every little bit of wall space and stuff. And there's various teddies that were given to me by my daughter and my wife. Some of which are monkeys. Some are Scooby-Doo that I loved. There was a great scene in Scooby-Doo where he was a hypnotist. There was an evil hypnotist in. Literally stuff everywhere. That is a wooden pen holder that inside's got a pen. It's given to me by one of my Indian students, Ramaswamy, after he'd been to England and done training with me. The legend that is Uri Geller, who I would argue taught me how to bend spoons. I'd already been doing magical spoon bending through deception and sleight of hand magician's methods. But then when I met Uri in 1996 at the Waterstones in Birmingham for the launch of his Mind Power kit, we went and had coffee and we discussed all manner of things. He told me to be unique, to be controversial, and indeed he knew that I was controversial because prior to that he'd done the voiceover for a 1994 television documentary called the Tuesday Special Documentary on BBC, where he did the voiceover and presented it and appeared on camera, and I was the main feature of it, as you can see at magicalguru.co.uk and on my Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel. But he told me to be controversial, and he let me stand behind him in the Birmingham Waterstones as the crowd were in front, and every now and again he'd turn and go, "Did you see that, young Alex?" Before he magically made bends appear in cutlery and stuff for the public. Make of that what you will. I set up the Association of Complete Mind Therapists a couple of decades ago. Get into the heart of your problem. So I've got, as you can see, coffee coasters there. Another monkey. Forgot to mention on the windowsill I've got a Hypnotic coffee coaster. That's for my coffee that goes beside my workstation, as it were, when I'm working. And as you can see from that angle, then I get all the posters I've already told you about. And at this side, I get this inspiration. So I really am surrounded by stuff. Then at this side of these drawers, we've got on the top row, Russell Hall, who runs Magic in Sheffield, who tried to sell the rights to my first book, Original Magic, to back in 1991. He didn't buy the rights, but Mike Donati did. And then in later years, I bought the rights back. And some of that stuff's available from Murphy's Magic now. Russell Hall did help me produce and film the Transparency Template, the world's most comprehensive guide on health and safety for hypnotherapy, stage hypnotists and street hypnotists, which he now sells as well as I do. And he stocks a lot of my books on psychic and hypnosis and related mentalism stuff. So, you know, he's been a good friend and support over the years. Thank you, Russell. Thank you also to Mike Donati, who's doing this floating ball there. Floating ball, which I bought off Repro Magic many years ago. And, yeah, I performed that in my act. As I say, he also bought the rights to my book, which I bought back after many years. And I bought the rights off Mike when he'd bought them from Repro Magic to Simon Lavell's book, The Magic of Show Business. And also got permission to publish the Mentalism and Mind Reading Secrets of Repro Magic. Details of which, if you click on the shop page of magicalguru.com, are there. Yeah, they're available from ePubli in Denmark. Yeah, on the next row we've got the late and great David Burglas, who was a great inspiration. I also found out a few years ago that it was David who Barry Lemond, the Supreme Magic Company, when they had Excalibur Publishing, sent my first Hypnosis book to for consideration, and that David kindly said that yes, indeed, it was the real work. It taught everything people needed to know, and that's when Supreme Magic then gave the go-ahead to publish it. Sadly, they went bust before it did, but it now forms volume 1 of my 3-part encyclopedias that are available on Amazon. There we have, again, we're getting a bit of reflection because of the angle, so I apologise for that, but that's Mark Lewis, who won the $25,000 on Canada's Got Talent this year. Rightly so. You can see his video that went viral on YouTube searching Mark Lewis, Canada's Got Talent. It was Mark who had the Svengali and Magic concession inside the Paul Daniels Magic Museum on the Golden Mile in Blackpool, so I lightly bought my first ever Svengali deck off him. One thing's for certain, when I worked for Marvin's Magic for the Christmas season of 1991 and also other engagements I did for them in 1992, when I became their highest grossing Svengali demonstrator, basically. I sold more in one day than many stores did in an entire week, as the sales figures on magicalguru.co.uk prove. It was with a pitch that I put together myself, but largely based at root on the one perfected by Mark Lewis that had been taught to me with some secret moves by one of Mark Lewis's employees. I'm having a mental block now. He is from Canada. He's now a university lecturer. And nope, brain fart moment because of this bloody whatever it is the neurologist is going to find. Mark Lewis's colleague is called... No, it's gone. I'm sure he'll mention it in the comments later. That's the late and great Anthony Owen, who was involved in Objective Productions. I met up with Anthony at Magic Conventions. We kept in touch when he used to put his Christmas thanking advert stroke cards in Magic magazines. My name used to be on it regularly. And we spent a lot of time together at International Brotherhood of Magicians Convention, the Blackpool Magic Conventions. We kept in touch. Tragically, he took his own life a number of years ago, unfortunately. An absolute genius. And a beautiful, wonderful soul. Bobby Bernard, who was a mentor when I was young. There was one time at Blackpool Magic Convention, he told me that I should do a droll act, D-R-O-L-L, droll, as in droll comedian, kind of deadpan. And the next day I went up to him and said, Bobby, I've ordered a bridge and I've ordered a load of scenery. I'm going to take your advice. And he was like, looked at me a bit puzzled, and he was like, what do you mean, a bridge and scenery? I said, so that I can do that troll act like you advised me to. He saw the funny side eventually. But yeah, no, he was a great inspiration. And he gave me his copy of Simplicity, Audacity and Bluff, signed by Val Andrews, which had the electric chairs routine in it and a whole bunch of other stuff that he said would be useful for me to know as I was moving into hypnosis. There's Richard Webster, probably published and written more books for the general public on New Age topics, psychic type things than anybody else. Sorry for it. Look, it's the way the light's falling on it. But he's also written stuff on cold reading and fortune telling and mentalism for magicians and mentalists. I studied a lot of his stuff when I was young before I started doing psychic fairs in the late 80s and early 90s. There's the late and great Ali Bongo, who, when I was researching years ago, Banachek Psychokinetic Touches, because I'd been taught that Doris Stokes used to do a version of it in her psychic shows. I've had this communication with Banachek in the past, that Ali Bongo taught me where it originally came from and what it was originally based on. My friend David Turner, Dave the Postman as I call him, was there and witnessed my shock when I felt myself get practically walloped on the back, and yet there was no one around to do it. He did teach me how it was done after as well. Scooby-Doo. This encompasses the Pride colours, and acceptance of everyone and everything, as well as the fact that I love Scooby-Doo. Because there were hypnotist wizards, evil hypnotist, and it's crime solving, and I don't know, just liked it. It's part of my childhood. We all have an inner child. Got a monkey there, which I love. Let's try and get his head down a bit, because his eyes, look, yeah, better when we can see your eyes. That's better. And then this one, wow, I don't know if I can stand back enough. There we go. Chimp. Relevant. I love monkeys of all kinds. Great supporter of Monkey World. Love the programme and been there and whatnot. Chimpanzees. Well, in circa 79 stroke 1980. So circa 1979, 1980, while I was working on Gandhi's Circus, the Brook Bond tea advert chimpanzees, and if you in a country other than England don't know what they are, search on YouTube and you'll find them, were performing with Gandhi's Circus, and so was I with my dad as Tizzy and Flap the Clown. And as we were going towards the stage to get ready for our next bit, or to the ring doors for our next bit, the chimps would have done their bit, there'd be another act on stage, and they'd be going back to the dressing rooms of the trailers. And every day they'd cross paths, and Billy Dash, the chimp trainer, would say to my dad, "You're right, Tizzy," and my dad would go, "All right, Billy." And in that moment, that very second, that very instant, when the chimps realised that no one was looking, whichever one was nearest to me would whack me around the head. And I'd end up going, "Dad, he's done it again." Now, you can laugh, it's okay, because had the chimps meant any ill intent, they were so strong, I'm now advised, that a whack around the head could have killed me. So they were just being playful because I was dressed as a clown and around their size. So maybe I've got some strange kind of Stockholm syndrome. Who knows? Back to Mark Lewis a second. I've remembered his student colleague was called Adam, Adam, Arms, Harmes. Adam Arms. He's now a professor in Canada, and it was him that taught me Mark's pitch routine, and then I developed to become the best Marvin's demonstrator at the time. Up the top there, we've got Paul McKenna, who's arguably sold more hypnotherapy-based self-help books than anyone else. Interestingly, I appeared on GMTV, on ITV in 1994 alongside Paul McKenna. We were on the same edition. He was supposed to be on it twice and me once, but he actually ended up refusing to go back on for his second appearance because I was there and being portrayed as the British bad boy of hypnosis, so we didn't want the connection. And I ended up therefore appearing twice on the programme, as illustrated at magicalguru.co.uk and on my Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel. And obviously he was just doing that from a professional point of view. He's actually, I'm told, a really nice guy. And indeed, I have to thank him because in sort of circa 96, 97, he sent tons of his seminar facilitators and students from his McKenna Breen Limited hypnotherapy and NLP training business to the Mind Care Organisation UK, run by myself and the late Peter Hill, to take our complete mind therapy and stage hypnosis course. And they actually put on the application forms, it was recommended to us by Paul McKenna. That's my star. That was bought for me by my wife on our 1 year anniversary. She bought me a star. Needless to say, that I think that's self-explanatory, is it's my clock in the office. Well, my second clock, because obviously I've got the clock from South Africa, and I've got the Magic Circle clock, South Africa clock, and I've got the Hypnotist pocket watch clock. Then we've got, well, that's David R.K. on the version of the Impaled Illusion that myself, a British illusionist Jamie Allen, and David R.K. devised, and then David's dad built. And that version of the Impaled Illusion that we devised was then supplied to Simon Drake, the Secret Cabaret fame, and here he is on Iron Maiden's Raising Hell farewell tour, performing, and that's the exact prop that we supplied, well, the sword and the mechanics and that. And it is basically the best version of the Impaled Illusion. I'm proud to have been involved in it and supplying it to Simon Drake. Actually delivered it to his house in London. Got that. This is one of those things where you put a coin on and the hat comes down, and when it does, the coin goes through the trapdoor and vanishes down a magic slide, which you can just about see there, but from the front, black art means it's invisible. It's like a vanishing coin. It's collectible. The R was actually belonged to Roger Howarth, and it was an R for Roger, but I've got it along with this pocket watch and stuff because it's also an R for Royle. Little myth and magic figures there that were bought for me as gifts, so they're sentimental because they were bought for me as gifts. Same with the Chinese dragon. We've then got the Director's Cut Award for the best weird-ass crazy crowdfunded movie of 2018, which was this film, Director's Cut, which was crowdfunded by Penn and Teller fame. And if you get the film from Amazon or just search the internet for Director's Cut, Penn Gillette, you'll see on the credits my name, Jonathan Royle, because I helped with the funding. Roger Howarth again. Uri Geller down there. Uri, I've already told you about. But if you go on my YouTube channel, Celebrity Hypnotist, and search for tribute to Uri Geller, I've got a lot of coin bending, spoon bending, nail bending, fork bending, spoon bending videos on there. And I've also got, if you go to my career resume, magicalguru.co.uk, I'm pretty certain there's a link from there to my tribute page to Uri Geller, where I've got photos and messages from Uri and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Down here we've got Alex-Leroy. And despite the fact my dad used the stage name Les-Leroy for his comedy act, that's not where I originally called myself Alex-Leroy from. It was because of Alex-Leroy and this sort of image I saw in a historical magic book that I took the name Leroy. And still to this day, then later changed the letters around so it became R-O-Y-L-E to make Royle, Jonathan Royle. This is who the inspiration was for that. Thurston, the great magician, do spirits come back? I've done seances and ghost hunts and paranormal investigations over the years. A still image there from Television Without Frontiers, where I'm hypnotising people. That's the late and great Dr. Brian Howard, also known as Hobrin, H-O-B-R-I-N, Master of the Tarot, who founded the Association of Professional Hypnotherapists and Psychotherapists and the Lotus Foundation for Psychic Studies, both of which I was so impressed with that I later bought the company and the rights to those, as well as becoming the youngest ever members. That's me at the Byline Festival, a big, massive festival about the media, where I was performing. And then that's my Mind Magician publicity photo I used to send to agencies. My Master Hypnotist one, 10x8 from years ago. Jonathan Royle, King of Hypnotists one. Years before that, when I was Alex-Leroy, that was the 10x8. People may remember repros by Crescent. Back to the Impaled Illusion. Then, up here, we've got a signed picture from the legend David Copperfield, signed picture from David Blaine, signed picture from Penn and Teller, signed photo from Paul Daniels, signed picture from Dynamo, signed picture from Jeffrey Durham, and a picture of Joe Riding, a highly underrated comedy and magical genius who, his book, Read the Tarot in 7 Days, was what got me started doing tarot readings in the late 80s and early 90s. And I was privileged to have Joe, a couple of years before he passed away, come and see me perform when I was in his hometown area of Lytham St Anne's, and at the Working Men's Club there I was doing something for the British Army, a hypnosis show, and afterwards I was very proud that he came and said, wow, you handled a really difficult crowd very well there. And then on the door, Thurston, Newman, Do the Spirits Return. So, yeah, that is my office of magical mentalism and hypnosis inspiration, where everything on some level has got a positive memory, positive anchor, positive association, so that I'm, if you believe in that stuff, surrounded by positive energy at all times when working in my office. Now, there's so much stuff in here I couldn't fit it all in, so you know what? Very quickly, one of my favourite monkeys is that one, reading a newspaper that my mother and father-in-law kindly got for me, because my wife said I couldn't have it. She didn't want it on the wall, but then when I was gifted it by my mother and father-in-law, she kind of didn't have a choice but to let me put it up. And then, I'm moving very quickly, but try and get at an angle. This Magic Symposium poster of Jeff McBride is in my bedroom, so that as I'm in bed, I'm looking at it on the wall opposite me. This was on the living room wall of the late Jack Griggs, my magical mentor, and is now pride of place in my bedroom. And yes, I've got other monkeys and Scooby-Doo by my bed. Another Scooby-Doo. Another Scooby, but this time with a magical link. And more monkeys. So, yeah, there we have it. My office of memories and inspiration. Greatest living publicist of all time, other than Houdini, Uri Geller. Look, for the next 24 hours, if you go to the link that's above this video or below this video, you can get access to everything I've ever released. That's everything on hypnotherapy, NLP, mind control, because until midnight tomorrow, Monday the 20th, is it 16, 17, 18? Monday the 19th of August 2024 United Kingdom time. Anyone who joins my Elite Hypnotherapy and NLP Hypnosis Bootcamp, I'm also going to give you free access to the interpersonal neurosynchrony, covert hypnosis, conversational hypnotism, influence and persuasion package. It's all explained above or below this video. Go and check it out. You get access to over £15,000 of training materials, business building tools, profit producing tools. Whether you're a complete novice wanting to go to advanced professional standard with ease, or you are an experienced professional, you will massively gain from this. In fact, it comes with a full 1 year, 100% satisfaction money back guarantee that clearly states you will earn at least £12,000 sterling, 12,000 euros or 12,000 United States dollars more bottom line profits in the next 12 months from joining the bootcamp than you did in the previous 12 months, or your money back, so it's no risk. And until midnight tomorrow, the 19th of August 2024, it's your last and only ever chance to get lifetime membership for a single one-time only payment of less than £300. You'll earn that back with a single extra therapy client or a single extra hypnosis show. And there's business building tools, profit producing tools, publicity producing tools galore in the package, as well as enabling you to earn 29 world-class accredited professional qualifications, as explained at ultimatehypnosiscourse.com. So, check out the information above and below this video. There's more information at ultimatehypnosiscourse.com on what you get when you take action now. For my career resume, check out Magical Guru, magicalguru.co.uk. And for details of my ongoing quest for truth and justice against the media and Rupert Murdoch's group newspapers in particular, check out circusofthemind.net. Bye for now.